Hi, it's Mickey time again. Well, it's not, it's actually Disney, not just Mickey. But of course, I have number 3 of the Hachette, or that again, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's so difficult, so obviously when you're reading it, you're not 100% sure how you should be pronouncing it. But it is a French company, so I'm presuming I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Now, I've made a bit of a mess up here because I have subscribed, but not realizing that it would take so long for my subscription to come through. So I'm probably going to end up with 2 of these because I bought this from the supermarket. So I've actually made it more expensive for myself than it should be, but it is really cute. Obviously, I'm trying to do it as a series, so I couldn't really wait until the next one came through. But it is nice. We have some, I can't really see it from my finger, and you're probably not able to see it through this. We're going to have a proper look top down, but it's the Winnie Pooh one. So we've got some Winnie the Pooh accessories in here, which is really cute. And obviously we've got the magazine, and it looks like they're more door parts, which there isn't the other bit to go with it, so I don't know. I don't think I can do that today, so we might be just looking at the Winnie Pooh bits. But when I actually do open the magazine, it might be completely different to that, so we'll have a good look and see what we think. Up to now, I'm really pleased, even though I've lost bits and pieces, but we'll talk about that afterwards. As I say, it's sort of a budget and scarper job with me, I'm afraid. I am not a model maker. As most of you know, I'm a crocheter, I am a crafter, but I've never really gone in sort of the model making as much as my son does Warhammer, etc. It's not something I've done. So I've had to learn a few skills, especially as I'd lost one of the pieces last time, and I've had to sort of create that piece out of some of the leftover bits that I got, which I'll show you that one again when we go top down. So I'm learning as we go along. I am not professional at this, and yes, I'm a nightmare for reading instructions, so apologies, but it's just for fun. Hope you can see what I'm doing. You might not make those mistakes if I make the mistakes, which is always good. So I'm quite excited about this. I love Winnie the Pooh, so we're going to have a look at this in a second, top down, and see whether, I think I've got to make the mirror. I think that's probably it, so I'll see you in a second. Hi, let's have a look at issue number 3 of Our Disney Doll's House by Hachette. So let's get out this crinkly stuff first. In fact, let me get the scissors on it. Ta-da! That's the crinkly bit. No, let's have a quick look at the magazine. Always got to have a quick look at the magazine. Now, as you can see, this is what it's going to be. It's the start of our little Winnie the Pooh area. Now, I get the impression there's a bit that pulls out, and that's going to be Winnie the Pooh. So he's in the basement by the look of him, bless him. So we'll have a quick look. We have some more subscription information. Oh, issue 4 looks nice. Look at this. Looking forward to that. And it looks like we're putting the door frame together, which is quite nice. And then we've got quite traditional Mickey stuff for issue number 5. So a quick nosy. There's obviously the instructions are in here. You can see this is the part which will be, it's like an outdoory bit really for Winnie the Pooh, isn't it? So we're putting together a mirror. That's okay. And we're putting together the frame, are we? Let's have a quick look here. The door frame and windows. So we are putting them together as well. I didn't realise I got all the parts from that. A little bit about our Winnie the Pooh there. And a little bit about the Little Mermaid. And obviously sort of a little bit about the artwork, etc. So that is quite cool. I might pause it to have a quick look at these instructions. I knew I was going to be doing the mirror. That's not a problem. Now I don't need that subscription piece of paper. So I'll move that out of the way. And I'll move this out of the way just while we have a look. Now, we have it on this cardboard sheet, so I hope it'll just peel off like it has done up to now. Let me see if I can get it to peel off. I know there's been a lot of videos out there, some phenomenal videos. If you're wanting sort of more, sort of, I don't know, practical advice, you might be better off watching them than me. Because as I mentioned in the other bit, I am not a model maker. This is all new to me, and that's why I'm sort of hoping it helps some of you. So bear with me while I make a terrible noise trying to get this on. Oh, another piece of cardboard. At least that one can be recycled. Not quite sure what they are. I'm sure it's something I've missed. And then we need to get the plastic off this. Now be careful because everything jumps out. There we go. So we have our bits and pieces here. We have some panes there. we have some tiny little sort of, I know they'll be for the mirror, won't they? And obviously we've got the mirror. I think we'll go with the mirror first because I think that will be the easiest part to do. But what I will comment on is I have my little bits and pieces. I've got my own PVA glue, and I got these baby wipes the other day, which I thought were quite appropriate. We have some Dumbo baby wipes. That's just in case I spill any glue. And this is where I am storing my bits and pieces at the present. So in we go. And these are the doors that I did. Now, I mentioned I'd lost, well, you saw me, it sort of pinged off when I used the tweezers, which was very annoying because I'd lost one of these pieces of panels here, so I was panicking. And then when I actually came to do the second door myself rather than on the video, I then lost another part, which, as it turns out, I haven't lost it. I found it after the fact, but at the point I was getting really stressy. Oh, I've lost it. I'm gonna have to make some more. So I did actually make some panels. I didn't have the baby wipes at the time, so I need to get some of this glue off carefully, because be careful because it does scrape the paint off, as I found the hard way. So I don't think I've done a bad job. I'm sure you guys who do this more professional are going to go, oh, that's the bit. I'm not going to tell you where I've gone wrong. I basically had to make myself some more of these strips. And what I used to make sure they were the same colour, because I kept all the bits and pieces that I'd taken the original pieces off. So because these were already painted, very painstakingly cutting them with the knife, maybe not the most professional job, but I'm quite pleased. It's something I've never done before. So I'd keep your bits and bobs, because then if you break something, because one of the pieces I took off did actually snap as well, so I'm like, oh, that's another one I've got to replace. They could perhaps do a couple of spares, please, Hachette, when you're doing things like this. You know, it could be handy, because when it is such fine wood and people aren't used to doing it, not everybody is going to be a crafter or a model maker making these things. You know, maybe throw a few extra pieces of wood in. It would be nice. So, but I'm quite pleased. I think the doors look okay. Just don't look mega close, but I'm pleased with them. I'm happy with them. So I'm going to keep bits like this now, just in case. So there's just a little box I've got, and look, I've got some of the blue bits as well. And I've got their tweezers and a couple of other tweezers and my paper. That piece of fabric's just in there so my doors didn't get damaged. I didn't want them to get scratched. So I'm just keeping everything up to now. I'm going to have to get a bigger box after a while, but this is the box I'm using at the moment. So I think, shall we have a look at these before I start doing any making? Be careful when you're pushing out. So we have a little Winnie the Pooh honey pot. That is gorgeous. The accessories, I'm really, really into all these accessories. And we have a little lid for it as well. So I'm going to pop in these. Oh, it's quite heavy, you know. Don't know what they're made out of. Is it a pot or a resin? I think it might be a resin. So he has his little lid on that one as well. And we can have another one, because you can never have too much honey. And we have a little lid for that one too. Now, as much as this says, did it say it was 1/20th scale? I'm pretty sure it did. You could quite easily use these accessories for 1/12 if you were wanting to do that as well. And then we have another little honey pot there. So he's got all these little bits and pieces. But we're going to start on the mirror first. So I'm just going to pause this a second. You won't really see the pause, but I'm just going to pause it so as I can have a quick check, even though I don't follow them properly, just to get me an idea, because otherwise it takes too long for you guys. So I'm think I'll put the honey pots and things over there. Like I said, they're really heavy. They do feel like they're either a resin or a pot, so I'm quite impressed with them, and I'll see you in a second. Right, let's get going with the mirror. It seems as if it's simple enough, so I'm hoping it will be. I've got my little bit of glue in that little bit of plastic pot there. I've been using this. You can use a paintbrush, you can use toothpicks, whatever. This is actually, these are like rubber tip. They're for moulding clay and things. As I say, I do other crafting. This is a crafting area I'm not used to. So, but I found these quite good, so that's why I'm using them. So, the mirror has a little bit of plastic we need to peel off. Don't forget to do that. And it is quite simple. You can see there is an edge. It is basically just going to slot in, but we need a little bit of glue in there first. So we just need to carefully put this glue on. It needs to be on that edge rather than round the edge. So you can see the little lip there. So it's a little bit harder to sort of sneak on. The beauty of PVA though is it does dry clear. So let's pop a little bit on. I know some of you are using super glues, because I know I was chatting to somebody the other day who is doing, or some have used other glues. I get why you are doing it, because when I came to put some of the other panels on my door fell apart, so I had to redo it. PVA is great if you've got the patience to leave it, if you put enough glue on, but it can also come apart quite easily. So I definitely understand why people are using super glue. I'm not using super glue because I'm an absolute mare with it. And if I use super glue, I would be stuck to it. And my fingers get covered in it and I'm just so messy. So that is why I'm not. But I will say, if you're using super glue, please be careful, because when it's glued, it's glued. That's the other thing I like about PVA. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. You can always redo it. So let's gently push that in. Try not to get too many fingerprints on it. Cleaning off a bit of that glue around the edge. I'm quite happy with that. That was easy enough. It stays in nice and firm. Bit of glue I've got on the back there to get rid of those bits of glue. So yeah, that was easy. That was easy peasy. Now we next have to do these two pieces, and they do have these tiny weenie pins. So again, this is me we're talking about. I need to be really careful when I am taking them out, because we don't want to lose them. There they go. Now these actually just push through. I'm hoping they're going to be easy to push through. Yeah, that was easy enough, wasn't it? It's detail though, isn't it? It just gives that extra little bit of detail having that pin there, rather than just sort of screwing this on. So let's see if this one's okay as well. Yep, that's okay. There doesn't appear to be a front and a back for these. And there's a little pinhole here. I'm just going to check that it goes in first. Yes, that will go in. Let me check the other side, it'll go in, so I don't need to make the hole. That one's not playing. Come on. Right, I have some I have some needles, because I've been doing some crochet this morning as well. So where have I put my needles? There they are. So this is just some needles I've got, and I'm just going to try and poke the hole in rather than trying to do it with that tiny pin. There we go, it goes through. Okay, be careful, it does actually come all the way through where the mirror is. So I'll pop them to one side. Now, does it say glue? It just says push the pin of 1 or 2 columns through the hole and make sure they are secure. It doesn't actually say glue. I'm hoping, because it sort of needs to swivel, doesn't it? I'm hoping the base, when the base is in, that will hold that in definite. Because if you glue it in, it's not going to swivel. I suppose if you're not bothered about it swiveling, that's okay as well. But it's a rather tiny area. It just still doesn't want to go in, even though I made the hole bigger. Oh, go on in. I'm going to have to get that pin back again. Just be careful you don't scratch the mirror when you're doing this. In fact, I've just pushed the mirror out slightly. Look, it's gone through now. My mirror's probably not going to stick now because I've done that, but I didn't want to scratch the mirror. I'd rather have to re-glue the mirror than scratch it. Get a little wipe out there. That'll clean up afterwards. Right, so then push it in. It doesn't want to go in. It's just my fingers. Go in. I suppose it's quite good. It's tight. It's not doing it. I might need to make the hole a bit bigger. Here's the other end of my needle. Now will you go in? It could just be my fingers are not strong enough to push it in. Oh, it's gone in. It's gone in, good. I need to put it back in this bit first though, don't I? That's one side. And the other side. Right, so I'm holding that like that because basically this needs to clip on, doesn't it? My mirror's definitely going to come out, but I'll glue it back in afterwards. Now, this has got a little ledge here. Now, according to this, the ledge goes to the front, and they are going to be pushing on to here. But this does need to be glued, so we need a little bit of glue on these. Or a lot of glue, depending on how you're doing it. You don't need it on the underneath bit, because the underneath bit is the bottom, so you'll doesn't stick to anything apart from your table if you're not careful. Right, so we're going to push these on, trying to hold these at the same time. So this is a bit of a fun trick here. Let's move it away from the body of it. That's one on, and that's the other one on. Let me just clear a little bit of this glue. As I said, the beauty of it dries clear anyway. So that, in theory now, because that's there tight, it will hold these two in as well. So you can see, I hope you can see what I've done there. The last two bits are just the feet, which are going to slot on. Now that is presumably why that is slightly indented there, because it's going to slot on over. So that's a nice area to be able to put some glue on. So we can put quite a bit of glue on there, I think. Don't think there's a front and a back, they're exactly the same, and we push it on. But again, that is going to take a while to dry, so if you're PVAing, you're going to have to be really patient and pop that to one side. So you can see I have actually sort of built the little mirror frame. It was easy enough to do, but yeah, that's just going to come off at the moment because PVA does take a while to stick. So I've got to try and put this to one side. I don't want them to knock off. This is going to be a bit difficult. I'm going to put the mirror that way. Oh, I'm just leaning them against something because I might be getting the super glue out. I'll say I'm not going to get super glue out. I might be if that won't stay, because it is going to sort of, let me move it again. Right. I'm hoping I've balanced it. I've balanced it on that little bit of elastic there. I'm hoping that's going to do it. Otherwise, I'll be re-gluing them. I think I'm going to be re-gluing the mirror in anyway. So the next step, it does say the door frame on the windows. Now, we got some of those previously, and the other little bits are clearly in here. So I'm going to pause you again while I have a double check. Right, I've had a quick read. Found out I should not have put glue in that. These are needed later. So make sure you keep those safe. So literally keep everything until you've read everything, and then decide what's going to be got rid of and what's not. So basically I laid the frame out like they did. So the main thing you've got to watch for is the positioning, whether it's front or back and things like that. For example, if we look at this, we can see where sort of positions are. So I've only just popped that on because I wanted to sort of just try to see how it sits. So if we laid that flat, you see these tiny weeny dots here. Those are the tiny weeny dots. You can see these are in this position, and the bottom one is a thinner one than the top one, and it does say that in it. And again, we have these tiny little holes which they've put there. So we're basically going to have a go at putting it together. It felt quite stiff, the one that I did try, so be prepared for it. But as you can see, we're sort of basically doing these joints. So carefully look at the picture. Now I can see on the picture that that little dot is forward of me. And I do know, look, we have this little sort of ridge here. So I do know this is going to fit in there. But it's going to fit that way around. Now, when I just tried that, oh, there we go. It's really tight fit. But you do need your glue in as well. So I think what I might do is, I don't know, shall I put the glue in now? I can't see how I can fit the glue in there, to be perfectly honest. And it does show you which parts you're meant to be gluing. You're meant to be gluing here and inside here. So we will do, I'll put the glue in something else now, just that top bit there, and just inside there. This is where perhaps a toothpick would have been better, because I'm struggling to get in there now. That'll do me. Let's say if I have to re-glue after the fact, I will re-glue. So, oh, I thought I was going to roll off the table then. So now again, making sure that the little dot is at the front according to the picture. So the dot is at the front. I can now slot this into place. Make sure it's nice and tight. Wipe away any excess. So that's one side. That's the easy peasy part. We now got to fit this one, and this one. So we have four in total, 3 struts. What am I on about? And again, you can see this is going to be fitting in there, there and there. So again, a little bit of glue on this one, just on the top. Please fast forward me if this is boring. Some of you, I'm probably teaching some of you how to do it, then you've already done it. So I'm going to put it this way. I don't know whether I should, because I'm struggling to actually push it in because it's quite tight. That works nicely for me. So I'm going to do the same on the others as well, because it just makes it easier to push it in as far as I'm concerned. A bit more glue. Got a bit of dry glue on there. In you go. In you go. Oh, flicking it at myself now. That won't be anything new. I'm very messy when I'm doing things. So again, make sure it's facing the right way. Let's push that one in. Oh, they're quite tight joints anyway. There we go. And our last one, right side would help. It's this little bit. You can see it's actually serrated. And obviously this is the end one, so it's going to slot in like this. A bit further in. There we go. Better, because we need these edges to be all nice and flush. So make sure that they are. So that's my first bit. So turn it back over this way. And we have a bottom section, but do we put that on first? We do. As I said, the bottom bit is a lot thinner. So I'm double checking, because the hole is at the front on this one, the hole is going to be on the front at the bottom. And these are going to slot in the same as that top did. But this is a lot thinner, so be careful. So let's get all the bits of glue on these end bits. Let me double check. Yep. Let's say I definitely see why some of you are super gluing, because this is just instant stick then, won't it? But I just can't risk it. Because if I'd super glued all this and then I had gone wrong, I wouldn't be able to get it apart, and what a waste of money that would then be. So I've got to very carefully attach this. Double check before I do. Da 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 da. Definitely same front, same front. So I'm really nervous, because as I say, it's only quite a thin piece of balsa this, and I don't want to snap it. Right, so it's in place now, so I can gently push it down, or maybe push it together this way. Oh, I've not put the glue far enough down. It was just really on those end bits that I needed the glue, but we are going to be putting other pieces in, so that won't matter, because this has to have something, so that glue's still going to get used. So make sure these are on nice and tight. And now obviously we have to do the struts across, but I think again they sort of speak for themselves, because they have the little indentation there, so it fits in like that. So we're going to fit one in there, one in there. You don't need to see me fit or glue these in. I think you can sort of see where I'm going with that. They just slot in, so obviously we need a little bit of glue on either side to hold that in place. And then this is the bottom one. This is why I say I'm not worried about any glue being there, because they fit in there. I need to make sure this is nice and square, which I think it is. I think I've got everything in place. Yep, so that's equal there. So I'm not gonna, you don't have to watch me glue these bits. I think they sort of speak for themselves. So a little bit of glue either side, and they just slot in nicely. And this is our door frame. So, I mean, I know we're not doing them yet, but I presume obviously when our doors are in, they will look really cute. So that's that bit. The other pieces you've got in here are spare for next time. So I think what I'm going to do, so I don't get them too confused up, I mean, these are clearly going to be these panels. I mean, there's a little bit of a glass panel there. But it does say, this photo shows the frame you have just assembled, which is this one, and the unused part, so you need to keep for later. So be careful, because you might miss that, but there is actually a little bit of a... If I can pull one out, I'll show you. We do have those glass panels, so don't lose them. So I think I need to find a larger container now. Keep everything. Make sure I keep it all nice. Some of it's now flowing a little bit easier, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's how we did it last time. So even if you are a beginner like myself, things do get a little bit easier, and you do need to keep these two. I'm suspecting they're going to be, I don't know, something to hold it in place or something like that. So these are going to be a tool rather than part of it. I can't see that it would be part of it. It's got to be a tool. So I'm going to keep them safe as well. In fact, they can go in the tools and accessories. I'm now going to glue these other bits on and leave you at that. Hope you're going to join me for issue 4. I'm hoping my issue 4 is going to come through on subscription. But that's it for today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching. I hope I've helped out a little bit. If you do enjoy what I'm doing, whether it's this or my other items I do, please like, subscribe and share. And I will see you all very soon. So bye-bye for now.